Right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues. And today I'm very pleased to welcome everybody for our first INOC meeting of underwater archaeology. Today, our distinguished guest from Algeria, Tipaza-University, Rafik Khalef, is going to talk about current underwater archaeology research in Tipaza-Algeria. So I think we are going to learn a lot of things about Algerian underwater archaeology. Before I give the audience to him, I would like to introduce him to everybody, just a brief information about Dr. Khalef. He's associate professor and the head of Historical and Archaeological Studies Laboratory at the University of Tipaza. He's responsible for the research team in coastal and maritime archaeology. The doctor in archaeology, conservation and restoration. He specialized in managing and protecting cultural heritage in general, and the coastal underwater cultural heritage in particular. Dr. Khalef has several administrative and scientific positions. First at the National Office for Managing and Exploitation Protected Cultural Heritage, before joining the University CLAF, then the University Center of Tipaza. In addition to his interests in intense associated activities, he is indeed the president of the National Underwater Archaeological Commission, affiliated with the Algerian Federation of Rescue, First Aid and Underwater Activities. Dr. Khalef has several national and international scientific articles in communication, most of them on the theme of coastal and marine. So, Dr. Khalef, welcome conference today. Audience is yours. Thank you. Welcome again.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to thank my colleague Harun Ozdas for his invitation, and the Inter-Islamic network on Oceanography for their interest in our work. This is also an opportunity for me to discover the network. Allow me to take this opportunity to introduce my institution, the University Center of Tipaza, and the laboratory that I manage, the LEA. So the University Center of Tipaza is a governmental public institution created in 2011 in Tipaza, capital of the wilaya of same name, coastal town, which is 70 kilometers west of the capital, Algiers. The university center welcomes 16,288 students, spread of 72 courses and supervised by 191 teachers. The University Center of Tipaza is made up 5 institutes: economics, law, letters, science and technology, where oceanography is taught, and the Institute of Human and Social Science. Archaeology is part of field of human and social sciences. And our institute is divided into 2 departments, Department of Social Science and Department of Human Science, which manages archaeology studies. And we have bachelor degrees in general in archaeology and a master's degree in antiquity, but also doctorate with 9 students spread over the 3 specialties: antiquity, medieval, and conservation and restoration in archaeology. The interest in archaeology is mainly due to the rich historical heritage of Tipaza. We will mention the archaeological site of Tipaza, which is classified as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but also Cherchel, Césarée de Mauritanie, capital of Mauritanie, Césarienne. Now let's move to the Historical and Archaeological Study Laboratory, which I created and have been directing since 2020. It's a laboratory which is interested in several research themes in history, archaeology, and of course in coastal and maritime archaeology and underwater archaeology. We have 8 teams, 32 researchers, and 12 postgraduate students, and 11 research projects. We have a research team dedicated to coastal and maritime archaeology, and 3 registered research projects. We have the archaeological map of coastal and underwater site of Tipaza, the archaeological excavation of the Villa Sadius in Tipaza coast, and underwater archaeological surveys in the Bay of Sidi Faraj in Algiers. Let's talk about underwater archaeology in Tipaza and the research projects on Tipaza that we carried out as a part of archaeological maps of coastal and underwater sites of Tipaza research project. Projects which was validated in 2021 and which is still in progress at now. The main goal of the project is to locate, document coastal and underwater archaeological sites along the coast of Tipaza. Tipaza is a central wilaya, bordering the wilaya of Algiers, the capital, at the east. It's made up of 28 municipalities, including 14 coastal municipalities with a coastline of approximately 125 kilometers. It's the second largest coastline in Algeria. The 2 main historical towns are Tipaza and Cherchel. The city of Tipaza is located about 70 kilometers west of the capital Algiers, and it has a large archaeological patrimony testifying in the rich activity of the city during alongside Césarée, the Mauritanie, and which located about Césarée de Mauritanie is located about 20 kilometers further west. And Tipaza has kept an ancient name mentioned by Pliny the Elder. However, it's seen to refer to Punic origin, that mean crossing points, or it's simply the Amazigh, the local name Tafza, designating a limestone rock, friable sandstone largely present in the region. Since the creation of the laboratory in 2020, our research team has registered several projects. The first was the surveys of the coast of Tipaza. We have recorded 2 operations at now. It's at the same terrestrial and underwater survey. We mainly focused on our study on the countryside, part of the coast of Tipaza, and this choice is due to the lake or the inexistence of studies or even documentation of archaeological sites which are located outside the city. The archaeologists have focused their research in the downtown, except for some research that are recent, as Villa and Nador. We carried out explorations on the field in several coastal sites where archaeological remains subsist, then diving next to this site. In 2021, we carried out an underwater survey from the beach of Tipaza tourist complex. This operation was decided accordingly to the result of the archaeological excavation carried out by our laboratory on the same site, where a Roman villa was discovered. And this villa is located inside the tourist complex of Tipaza. You can see the photo, about 3 kilometers east of the city of Tipaza. Only the core of the villa has survived to the construction of the complex. As we can see, in the pictures. The small beach is very close to the site and which probably served as shelters during antiquity. We did a survey by observation on the whole beach, but it did not give satisfying result. Some ceramics fragments, but insignificant. This is probably due to pollution of the beach, which has been exploited and remodeled for several years. And last year, we resumed underwater survey on the entire eastern coast of Tipaza. And many examples of shelters or space arrangement used to embark and unload goods were reported during our survey, such as the slipway and mooring bollards present in the Oshinografi and in the Koli. You can see in the picture. Another example is Koli sites, where the cataract and the shape of the quay and slipway are clearly distinguished on many sites. Degradation of limestone rock is very friable, did not allow us to appreciate the original cut shape made on the stone. And we did the file of survey on the western part of the Bay of Tipaza, on the western extremity of the beach of Matares, where we had located several remains on the coast. We had identified an anchorage area with the presence of anchor and amphora, mainly Bilimsel. And for the harbor of Tipaza, we work a lot on this site. We had several studies on the location. There is several studies on the location of the harbor of Tipaza were carried out, and several locations have been proposed to. The most plausible and confirmed by archaeological evidence is the harbor of Saint Salsa, Sidi Said, the main harbor of the city. We have therefore resumed the work of York and Davidson and carried out several field missions inland and underwater to be able to review this harbor. The site is located east of the city of Tipaza, 200 meters approximately outside the eastern rampart in the promontory of Sidi Said, at the location of the Iceland. According to the research and investigations of York and Davidson, the ancient harbor is located between the two islands and the promontory, forming a space protected by breakwaters and a dike. We carried out bathymetric survey, which confirmed the presence of breakwaters. These were made of large rubble. It was very difficult for us to appreciate the slopes of the banks formed by the breakwater and underwater. And we have updated the plan established by York and Davidson, even if honestly this plan was already quite complete, at least on its submerged part. The promontory has a port facility, platform carved into the rock with separated landing of stairs in the western part, and there are arcade cut in the rock along the cliff. We found some submerged holes. Destruction testified of nature effect, and other still visible at the bottom of the promontory. The islands A and B. On the island A, the stone is carved to create a K. And we can see on the photo the details of the wall carved in the rock. And on island A, several arrangements carved into the bedrock, a rectangular opening where we noticed traces of wear similar to the effect of rope, traces of carving in the bedrock and hole probably used for fixing. And in Iceland B, presence of remain of wall built of large blocks and mortar bound rubble stones. According to this data, we finally proposed a 3D reconstruction of the ancient harbor of Tipaza, which confirms the place of this infrastructure in the organization of the city by a fairly important commercial activity. Another view of the harbor, of the 3D modeling of the harbor. Another operation or another surveys, Al-Hamdaniya surveys west of Tipaza. I will present to you the research work carried out in Hamdaniya Sharshar. This work actually started in 2018 as part of the preventive operation carried out on the site, which was to host the future large central port of Algeria, Al-Hamdaniya. They were made by CNRA, the National Center for Archaeological Research, and I was in charge of operations. And we continued our research work on Al-Hamdaniya as part of our project registered in the LEA laboratory. So the port of Al-Hamdaniya will be the largest in Algeria, with more than 2,000 hectares in area. And we can compare its immensity with the city of Sharshar. The quays will be built on the maritime part after filling, which will bury a large part of coastal sites. And we had opted for three types of approach, of methodology, and this according to the nature of the sites on which we were going to intervene. The first concerned site already know. The second, prospecting by observation on restricted area by the sea. And the third, geophysical surveys over much larger area. So we had carried out surveys by observations, but also bathymetric survey with a small sounder equipped with the side scan technology. This really made our work easier, despite its being very basic equipped. On the first site that we located and documented, it's the site of the canon of the White Rock, the Rocher Blanc, 23 canon from Ottoman era, which lie a few meters deep in the small bay of the White Rock. We had started by marking out the site and delimiting an intervention square with the buoy, the signal. Then we had set up a grid underwater to be able to carry out the reading. This operation we carried out in November, so the climatic conditions were really unfavorable. We have implemented the system to perform archaeological planning. The system consists of a signal placed vertically on the body of water. This buoy is equipped with emitters. It allows us to calculate the depth and at the same time to take the point thanks to a total session which was on the ground. This system replaced the side up and allow you to be more comfortable underwater. Two divers carry out the installation, and a third operator took the measurement of the total station underwater. The cannon have been numbered, documented, and dimensioned. And the dimension was taken. The technical sheet have been produced for each cannon, and the final plan that drawing with right angles technique has been carried. It's much simple and faster to achieve. We can clearly see the arrangement of the cannon, which can lead us toward a possible capsizing of the ship. And finally, we carried out a photogrammetry of the cannon, very difficult, since the site is at a shallow depth, very populated by Posidonia. And the Posidonia is in Algeria a protected species, hence the persistence problem of cleaning the site. And other sites, we discovered in Hamdaniya, always in Hamdaniya, about 3 kilometers west of Tipaza, 18 wreck carrying cut stone of different shapes and size, and whose number exceed 100. Hamdaniya beach is a large beach of more than 1,800 meters between the site of the 3 islets to the east and the site of White Rock to the west, the Oshinografi. The rock is very close to the archaeological site of 3 islets, Les Trois Îlots. It's an agglomeration of the ancient city of Cherchel, Césarée de Mauritanie, which testifies of intense industrial activity in relation to the fish industry, among others. A large fish salting workshop was brought to light at the sites of the 3 islets. We carried out surveys with the sounder, always with the same sider and the same equipment, to carry out the bathymetry of the beach, also to find anomaly in the sandy bottom, which may reveal the presence of archaeological remains. On both techniques, the screen were very clear. The presence of tumulus on the bathymetry and the very distinguished shape of the cut stone on the side view. The site has been documented, the dimensions, the number of cut stones, and first analysis of the structure of the boat has been carried out. The study is still ongoing. Another site, the fish tank of Tizirin at Cherchel. For a few years now, we have been interested in the fish tank of Tizirin in the town of Cherchel. This fish tank are located on the Cape of Tizirin to the east of the city, exactly on the limit of the rampart of the ancient city. Our study was essentially based on the revision of the work of carried out by York and Davidson second time, and taken after by Louvre. We had to use the description and analysis published in the report of the Maghreb project by York and Davidson, while relying on the statement made during this study. We had noticed that many elements were not mentioned in the previous study. No doubt that the 2 researchers did not locate everything. We therefore decided to carry out a detailed survey of structures of the fish tanks using a total station, and to carry out in parallel visual survey of the entire space where the fish tank is located. Survey and observation were made at first in snorkeling with mask, but given the fish tank is a very small depth, only few centimeters, we prefer to wait for low tide to be able to better appreciate the spatial distribution of the structures. In addition to the survey, we carried out photographic coverage of all the detail of the fish tank. The survey that we have established has allowed us to see that the surface area of the fish tank is greater than what we suggested by York and Davidson. The mode of operation of the fish tank is done on basin, supplied with water by valves and filters. The system is much more complex and elaborate than we thought. And the 3D model of the fish tank is being produced by one of our doctoral students. It will be able to give us a better vision of the operation of the breeding ground. We will have noticed our presentation it's more flashes on the various archaeological missions, operations, surveys that we carried out that last 2-3 years within the framework of our research laboratory, hoping to have an opportunity to address subject in a more exhaustive way with synthesis and analysis of the data. This work demonstrates the rich heritage of the Tipaza region and the multiple possibility of discoveries, despite the exceptional location of the city and its international classification by the UNESCO. Our work also shows that we can achieve a lot with little means. I hope this brief communication has been able to demonstrate all this. In the end, you can follow our research, our programs, field trips, surveys, excavation, but also publication through the official website of the LEA laboratory and the Facebook page too. Thank you for your attention and sorry for the technical problem in the beginning of the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Khalif, for your nice presentation, and we get a chance to learn more about underwater cultural heritage activities in Algeria, and we are very pleased to know you. As you remember, we met with you in Aix-Marseille this last year. We had a memo of understanding and planning to do some collaborative work with you in the near future, I hope. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm opening for the question. Please, if you have any question or any remarks, send it through to chat section. I give you some opportunity to you guys that asking some questions to Dr. Rafiq Ali. And if there's not, I'm going to ask.
Harun Hocam, I have some questions. Maybe.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Waiting for the questions, I can ask some questions. Actually,
sure, please.
I have two questions. Before asking my questions, I would like to thank Dr. Rafiq Khalif for his great presentations. Thank you very much once again. Regarding my question, the first question, in case students from Islamic countries interested in doing their master and PhD education in your institution, do you have international programs in your institution or not? And of course, I would like to ask support programs from your country. Do you have any support program for the students in case students would like to continue their master and PhD education in your institution and country? The second question, maybe I can ask after your question, after your answer.
Okay, so yes, we have PhD programs. The PhD program is open for international students. This year we received 5 students from Mauritania, from Palestine, and I think it's cooperation with different institution, international institution, or different university. We haven't an international student in archaeology. We have only 9 students at now, but it's possible. I think it's possible for international students.
Okay, maybe you can share your presentation with us. I saw your connection details, and we can share on the INOC website in case students would like to continue in their master and PhD education career in your institution. Regarding my second question, you know, your studies are very important for a country's underwater heritage. So do you have any program for society, for schools for students, primary and secondary students, in case a society, a person, a group of students from schools would like to see what is going on underwater regarding archaeology? Do you have any educational program?
Yeah, you mean education for non-university students, yes?
Yes, also for society, for example.
For society, yeah. We work in all the year, the scholar year, with the association. For the laboratory, for me, we have 3 protocol or convention with 3 associations, and they participate with us in the excavation, and they participate with us in the seminary, and we contribute to the social day, if I can say. But if you ask about the education, the young education, we haven't yet any program, really program in the university.
Okay, thank you very much for your answers.
Thank you.
Dr. Rafik, thank you for your presentation. I have a lot of notes actually, but it's not going to be too long. I want to ask one question.
Yeah.
What is the protection system in Algeria for this underwater culture? Do you have a specific system or management system in Algeria? This is my first question.
Okay.
How do you protect them, or what is the system in general?
So we have really a problem because the first protection is a law protection. And in Algeria, we haven't a law text, especially for underwater archaeology or for underwater cultural heritage. We try in the commission, in Algerian Federation of Underwater Activities, to propose a protocol to protect, but it's dedicated to the associations and not to institutions of official institutions. You must know that we have not underwater sites in Algeria, only the site that I present this morning. We have a list of protected sites, national protected site and international protected site, but in the first list, the national protected site, there is no underwater site that is protected. And this is a really problem. Underwater archaeology is, the research in underwater archaeology is very recent. Just a few years before, with me and my team, I started in 2016, and the first and the unique program research was did in 1968 by York and Davidson, and there is no other program in underwater archaeology in Algeria. So we haven't a special program or a special tool tools to protect underwater archaeological sites.
Okay, well, thank you. So the general problem for whole Mediterranean countries, as you know, more or less to other Africa, Latin America, all part of East, Far East also. Well, thank you for that. It is very nice, very interesting. I actually listen very interesting stuff. I mean, like all the harbors, you know, and especially the fish tanks is very impressive. And one question is very simple. You have found in the harbor in I think in the Tipaza with the mortar. Is this did you find any? Did you do any analysis for them, or did you receive any like a volcanic structure, like a pustulan or something in the mortar, or did you do any analysis for the mortar?
No, we didn't do yet. Not yet. We
okay.
Yes, we want to do it.
The reason I'm asking that, I think that most of the ashes comes from the Vesuv mountain, from Sicily might be. This is very easy to, you know, transfer these hydraulic mortar to the Algeria or the Northern Africa, it seems to be. But anyway, I don't want to continue for long because of the, unfortunately, we have a very, some difficulties, internet connection.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I noticed that. That's why. And we would like to present, I think the Professor Bülent Çavuş is going to present you to participation certificate. Thank you for participating us and giving us to know your work in Algeria. We are very pleased to know you. And we are looking for the work with you in the near future after this memo of understanding signed. That gives us some opportunity. And we think we will invite you, or we will come over and work with you in Algeria, either in Turkey. So I think there is no question as far as I can see in the chat section, and that's why we can conclude our conference today. But maybe I can add one thing. Islamic Oceanography is the Inter-Islamic network of Oceanography, yani INOC, planning to do some series of the underwater archaeological conference. And we start with you, Rafik, first in Algeria, in Mediterranean Sea. We are hoping to continue for that and know each other, and also at least have some network, create a network, because of this is our INOC mission, to create a network and to bring all these people. We are kind of platform, introduce those people in this platform, and they let them to do it some kind of joint work, and whatever it is, they create some synergy for that. So that's why the mission of the INOC is going on like this. And we introduce human part, means human existing underwater, means in the ocean. So oceanography is not only the oceanography, human is also already there. So that's why nautical archaeology, underwater archaeology, or coastal archaeology is the part of the oceanography related with the human history. So that's why I really like to, looking forward to work with you and to see you maybe in Turkey someday. Thank you very much. And Dr. Professor Bülent Çavuş, are you going to add something for?
I just want to thank for his very nice contribution to Inter-Islamic Network on Oceanography, and that's all from INOC.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you so much, Harun. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rafik. Bye.